Okay, welcome everybody. So you download the new parak, second parak. So far I just said about the sotah that they brought her to Shar Nicanor and Koras Bugadeha, Yaparas Rosha. That's all I said earlier. And then it went to the side of Achabah Mitzri, and it went to the side of Shigabah Mida Keneged Mida. But now we're continuing the Seder that they do to the sotah. Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe Yasmin Chasa. Let's put this in parentheses over here. A little bit parentheses, not so much parentheses. So now there's a mincha also. Besides the drinking of the water, there's also a mincha. Minchas kanos is called, and it's different. The Mishnah is going to say how it's different than usual mincha, a meal offering. So the husband here, Rashi is the husband. The husband brings the mincha. It means it's not she who brings it. The husband brings the mincha, the korban, and into a kind of wicker basket, and he puts it into her hands in order to make her wary. So the Gemara is going to say the reason is in order to, if she's really guilty, she should confess. Like when you interrogate somebody, say make it difficult just to make them a sugar that they should break down. So there's no reason she should really be holding it. She'll be holding it for a long time now. The reason she holds it is just to make her agitated. And if she's guilty, she'll give in. The Mishnah wants to mention this thing about Kfifa Mitzvah, so it goes on a tangent because we're not really holding by the mincha yet. The Mishnah is going to have a lot of things before it gets to the mincha, but it tells you the difference between the regular mincha and the mincha sotah. All other menachas, the beginning also is ready in the klisharis. The Gemara is going to talk about that. The Gemara will discuss more what it means, but for our purposes, it says here at the beginning, as soon as you bring it, it's ready in the klisharis. But this, the mincha sotah is different. They bring it in a wicker basket first. And at the end, you also have to put into klisharis. The end of the mincha is also going to be put into klisharis, but the beginning is brought in a wicker basket. Second point, all the other menachas, we'll see soon, maybe some exceptions. They need oil and also lavona. How do they translate lavona? Frankincense? Is that so? Lavona? I forgot. I think so. And this mincha says no shem and no lavona. We're going to say that it's not a nice korban. It's not a korban muhuda. All other menachas is always made out of wheat, and this is out of flour. Also, there's an exception to this also, but the Gemara will talk about it. This is unique that it has sovereign. Minchas omer afapisha ba. The Mishnah itself says that minchas omer also is sovereign. Minchas omer afapisha ba and sovereign. Yaisa ba geras. Zu ba kemer. So geras, Rashi seems to say, is the same thing by sovereign as you would say solas by chitim. That when you grind it, you don't make it into fine, what we call flour. It's made into coarse flour. Coarse flour. The Rebbe said that solas means fine flour. It's a mistake. That solas means coarse. The good part is the coarse flour. Like semolina. That's good. That's going to be a good one. But to say that it's fine flour, that's not true. So the fine flour by us is maybe it's fine. It's not considered fine. It's too kemach. Kemach is not good.
Some honey to this. It's pure Moshe's date honey. I'm offering his food because I know he likes. It's pure date honey. Would it be helpful?
It's good. Thank you. So what I have over here. So Omer, even though it's made out of sorim also, so you think it's just as bad as a mincha sotah. No, it's not as bad because over there it's at least geras. It says with a shin, but it means a sin. It's a geras. That's how the Torah says it, geras. We would say a samach, like grossos. So it's ground to the size of geras, but this is kemach sorim. Plus it says kemach sorim. It's made. It's all in all ways. It's deficient. So it doesn't have shemen, doesn't have lavona, it doesn't have chitim, it doesn't have geras. It's going to made into kemach sorim. But it talks about the fact that it's made out of sorim, and maybe I guess the end parentheses should be there also. If there's a parentheses, then the whole thing is in parentheses also. The fact that it's sorim. So the Mishnah's main point started talking about Kfifa Mitzvahs. Then it went into the comparison between all other menachas, and it says Kfifa Mitzvahs, no shemen, no lavona, sorim, and it's kemach. Avrohom says, why is a korban said to be sorim? Because it's a ma'aseh behema. She acts like an animal. The fact that she had relations not with her husband, so too, or she might have had. So too, her korban is machal behema. Tanya Avrohom Omer Mishim Abba Eliezer Kedei liyaga. It says in the Mishnah the reason why we put her into her hand is in order to make her wary. Kedei shetachzavo. What's the purpose of making her wary? In order to give in. Tachzavo. If she's guilty, she should admit. And Rabbi Eliezer ends off if Hashem has compassion even on the Avrayanim. She's an Avrayan, and Hashem wants on the side that she is guilty, that she should admit and she shouldn't die. It's coming out, we want that she should admit. For what purpose? The Gemara is saying here that she should admit in order she shouldn't die, she should be able to live, she'll live and have a good life. So that shows that Hashem even cares about over Ritzona, those who transgress as well. Also, Hashem cares about them so much. The Gemara says, how do you see that? Maybe the reason why we don't want her to, why we want her to admit is not because she should be saved, but that we shouldn't have to erase Hashem's name. Maybe the reason why we try to encourage her to admit is because you don't want to erase Hashem's name in vain. You don't see it's because we care about her life. The Gemara says no. Kasava mashke v'achakach makrivas mincha. So later on, the next parak is going to be a machlokes, but in the order. What do? There's a mincha to be brought, and there's also the drinking of the water. Machlokes, which goes first? Some hold that you bring the mincha first, and then you give her a drink. And if she's guilty, she's going to explode. Others hold you give her a drink first, and even if she's guilty, she doesn't explode until you have to bring the mincha. You bring the mincha, then she's going to explode because she drank it 5 minutes ago. But it has to do with the mincha after. So the question is, which is the order? Later on, it's going to be machlokes, which is the order. So Yadmar says here, this man the Yama holds, or Beleza that just said this, he holds that first he gives her to drink, and then he brings the mincha. So at the time, once she drank, so then there's no, then it means you already erased the Megillah, it's erased already. So how come you're trying to get her to admit? It must be because the Torah doesn't want her to die.
So if she admits, even if she drank, then it wouldn't work.
Right. Only once you bring the mincha, you have to bring the mincha in order that it should work. If you hold you bring the mincha first, and then she drinks, and if she's guilty, she dies. But if you hold that the mincha goes afterwards, so even though she drank, it's not going to work. It's not activated until the mincha. So we wanted to say, admit. Why do you want to admit for? It's not going to save the Megillah. The Megillah anyway was erased. The Megillah with Hashem, the Megillah sotah. Must be in order to save it that she shouldn't die. That's what Beleza said. You see, Hashem cares even about.
Give another chance.
Even after she drinks, she can still get admit, then she's not going to die, and then she'll get divorced, then she'll get and get married again with somebody else. And so you see that Hashem wants that she shouldn't die in vain, even though she deserves to die. Avrohom now goes to the whole the difference between all menachas and this. And why brings a brisa that's all about mincha. Today's going to be all about mincha. Come out not about a sotah. It's going to be a little bit about a sotah today, but mostly about the regular menachas, the regular meal offerings. And the first thing the Mishnah says is that kol menachas come in a klisharet, tchilas and v'sof on klishares, and sotah is different. They come in a wicker basket, but later on put in a klishares. And the most kash is that regular menachas also, you don't bring it in a klishares right away. You bring it in a nice kli. But then you put it into a klishares. So the Muslim has a kasha on the Mishnah that it's not true. All menachas, you don't come right away in a mincha and a klishares. You bring it in a kli, then you transfer it to a klishares. That's the most kasha. A kasha from the regular mincha. Say the menachas ketzad. What's the say the regular korban mincha? A mincha again is a meal offering. Other maybe mincha b'soch beiso, but kal shel kesef shel tzor. But no soch klishares. A person brings from his house a mincha. What's a mincha? It's going to be the soulless, right? Soulless sleeping, whatever it is, and he brings it in bowls of silver or bowls of gold. So it's not a klishares. Then he puts it into a klishares. So that's the kasha already. Really, for our purposes, we can stop right here and go to the teretz, which is about 10 lines down. But the Gemara brings the whole brisa. I don't remember if it's a brisa or a mishnah. I don't know. Tosefta says inside that it's a tosefta, all this. So it could have stopped right here and gone to the end. We'll put into parentheses because right now we don't need it.
When do you bring a mincha?
Whatever you want to.
Whenever you want.
There's also things a minchas chote. Sometimes a person, there's certain sins that he does if he can't afford a mincha, a regular korban chatas, it means a chote. There's also minchas omer that we brought. That was a tzibur. There's a chova. But otherwise, the mincha is a nedava, and it says five menachas you could bring. You have a choice which one you want to bring. Machvas, marcheshes, mincha solis. What else is there? Mafitano. There's 5 kinds of menachas that you're allowed to bring. But it's a nedava. So here, a person brings a mincha. So it says he brings it first in bowls of silver or gold, and they put it into a klishares. And just hold on to this because that's going to be the kasha that you don't put it originally in a klishares. First, you bring it in a regular kli kesef and zav. Then you put it in klishares. So that's going to be the kasha. Amish just sounds like you bring it into klishares right away. But just to continue, all about mincha. From a kasha of klishares. So now when you put it into klishares, that's the way that's going to be sanctified. You sanctified the mincha by putting it into the klishares. And it sounds like you have to be mekadosh. You have to say Haveza Mekudosh. The notion of Hashem and you put onto the mincha besides the solas that you had so far. you put also oil and lavona, or maliches or Kohen, then you take it to the Kohen. Means that till now it was not by the Kohen, till now you do it by yourself. The shemen and the lavona also you put by yourself. You take the shemen, the lavona, you put it into the mincha, and then you bring it to the Kohen. Kol maliches el mizbeach. The Kohen takes the mincha in the bowl and in the klishavos, and he brings it to the mizbeach. And he touches it to the southwestern corner of the mizbeach. Just to get a picture, the west means the side of the mizbeach towards the Beis Hamikdash, and the south is the side that's towards the kevesh, towards the ram. And that corner, he touches it to that corner of the mizbeach. That's called hagasha. Kineged chudash al keren, by the spitz, the dayo. That's good enough. The Gemara is going to say what the word the dayo means. That's good enough. It seems to say that you could have done more, but that's all you have to do. Just touch the kli with the mincha to the corner of the mizbeach. Then you have to do kmitza. Kmitza means you take a fistful of the mincha, and you're going to be maked around the mizbeach. So it says before you do that, first move the lavona to the side. You move away the lavona to one side, and you take a kmitza not from the lavona. You take a fistful from the solus and the shemen, from the part that has a lot of shemen. Means even though you pour the shemen into the solus, so by regular mincha, so you take from the part which has a lot of shemen, and then you put that kmitza into the klisharis, and you're mekadosh in the klisharis. When you put it into the klisharis, you mekadosh in the klisharis. So this is the second klisharis. The first one, the whole mincha was put into the klisharis. Now you did kmitza, you put the kmitza into another klisharis. Then take all the lavona. Means when you did the kmitza without the lavona. Like I said, you put the lavona on the side, and you do a kmitza from the solus and the shemen with a lot of shemen, and then you put this kmitza into another klisharis. Now you take all the lavona off the mincha and put it also onto the kmitza. And then you take it up to the mizbeach and you burn it on the mizbeach. It says the klisharis. The Gemara is going to say you don't burn it in the klisharis. That's going to be the Gemara. You take it from the klisharis. Then you put salt on it also. It didn't say you maktir. We said maktir, but it means you're not maktir it yet. We'll see in a second. Then you put salt on it. You weren't maktir it yet. And then you put it the komets with the lavon. You put it onto the fire. So just to be that again. You bring it out to the mizbeach in the klisharis. Then you put salt on it, and then you put the komets into the fire. Now, after you did the komets, after you did the komets on the mizbeach, now the rest of it is eaten by the kohanim. After the kmitza, the kohanim eat the rest of the mincha. Or Rishon kohanim eat the sofa yain v'shemen udvash. They could put other things into it. They don't have to eat it plain. They could put other things into it also: wine, oil, honey. It's only a surround the kohanim with the shirayim, the leftover. The shirayim is the leftover of the mincha after they put the komets onto the mizbeach. So the leftover, the only thing they're not allowed to do is that they're not allowed to make it into chametz. That it's also not only Pesach, but there's issa the whole year round. The mincha can't be chametz, not the komets and not the part that the kohanim eat. That's the end of the brisa. So we didn't need all that. Let's put parentheses over here. Katani miya. So all that was a side point. Now katani miya. The culture shall kesef a culture sazor. So when you bought the mincha, you didn't bring it in a kisharis. You brought it in a bowl, a gold or a silver bowl. And then you put it into a klisharis. So this was not a klisharis. How come his Mishnah says that kol menachas tchilasan the klisharis as if you bring it right away into a klisharis from a klisharis? You're right. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you bring the mincha in a klisharis. You bring a mincha in a chulin bowl, but it has to be a kli which is right to be a klisharis. I think the point is that it has to be a choshev a kli, a kind of kli that's right to be a klisharis, even they don't make it into a klisharis. So gold and silver, and the Gemara say dafka gold and silver. It could be a metal also. It doesn't have to be dafka gold and silver. Anything which is right to be a klisharis. But then it comes out according to this chart that the wicker basket is not right to be a klisharis. Why is a wicker basket not right to be a klisharis? That's what one talks about. It comes out according to what you're saying that the kfifa mitzvah is not able to be a klisharis. Why not? There seems to be against Rabbi Yehuda because there seems to be machlokas about this. The Tanya, Ishar Sang Shal Eitz, every post of Rabbi Yehuda Mashik. Can you make a wooden klisharis? If you want to have whatever, mizrach, whatever it might be, any kind of klisharis, but you make it out of wood. So Rabbi says not, but Rabbi Yehuda says yes. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, you can make a klisharis out of a wicker basket also. What's wrong with wicker? It seems that it's just like a kli eitz, and you have to have metal maybe. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, you don't have to. You can have wood, so you can have tfifa mitzvahs also. The Gemara says no. People tell Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda, b'chashuvin. The plus in the yama, does he hold even a cheap kind of a basket? That even though it could be wood, but it can't be something which is cheap. Less like Rabbi Yehuda Does Rabbi not agree? The pasuk that says in Malachi, bring it to your governor. Yet there talks about that people brought the Balimum, I forgot the Russian exactly, that they brought Balimum for Kabbanis, and over there the time of the Navi is not that you brought a Balmum, but that you brought something which is disgusting, would you bring it to your governor? If you want to bring a present to some official, would you bring such a kind of a present? So here it says that it's not usually it's only a din in Mufcha, it's supposed to be a nice thing, it's supposed to be in Mahadrin, but here it says that surely it's possible, even according to Rabbi Yehuda, to bring something into a cliché with out of a wicker basket, that's a cheap thing, so then surely not. So what did the Gemara say so far? As far as we're concerned, the Mishnah that says Kal Menachos Chilosan Kisharis for Safon Kisharis, it doesn't mean that. It means Kal Menachos Chilosan has to be at least a kli, which is right for a Kisharis, and here not. Here you could even here she brings not actually because she has to bring the mincha and the kli for mitzvahs, like a disgusting kind of a lowly kind of a kli, and regular menachos have to be a kli, which is right to be a kli sharis. It doesn't have to be a kli sharis, but it has to be right to be a kli sharis. And by the mincha sotah is brought after a kli, which is not right to be a kli sharis, it's brought a kli for mitzvahs, and even a Rabbi holds that it can't be a kli sharis because it's lowly kli. Now we're going to hold this. Now everything's talking about a mincha now, regular mincha, not about sotah. Regular mincha. Once we got the parentheses here, so we're going to the parentheses over here also, and we're talking about the rest of the brisa. The words alone say that you take the mincha from the gold or silver bowl and you put it into a kli shavis and you sanctify it. So it sounds like it's two steps. You put it into the kli and you sanctify it. You have to be mekadosh it. Like so, I raise the mekudesh. You're making it the same kedushas mincha. Shama being no kli shavis ain't mekadosh never midas. The Gemara is wondering because there's a mandama that says as soon as you put it into kli shavis, automatically it becomes kadosh. Here it says you put it into kli shavis and you mekadosh in the kli shavis. That sounds like it's two separate points. You could put it into the kli shavis without being mekadosh. That sounds like the mandama that says that the kli shavis doesn't mekadosh automatically. Only if you intentionally want to do it. But it's not so simple. Some hold that the kli shavis automatically accomplishes the kiddush. The Gemara says here also it's not muchach. Not that umakacha, but likacha. By putting it into the kli shavis, it's automatically the kiddush. Means the words here are not muchiach. You can't prove in the words which way it holds. Either it means you put into the kli shavis and you mekadosh in the kli shavis. You have to do actively the mekadosh. That doesn't happen automatically. Or the words mean to say you put it into the kli shavis, and in order that it should become kadosh. And echnami, even shalom adas, it automatically becomes kadosh. What? He's saying that you leave the words and instead of saying with a shva, say with the chiruk.
Yeah.
I think umikacha would only be good if it have an aleph at the end, and it would mean in Aramaic. That's in Hebrew you would say mitkadesh. So in Aramaic it would go, but maybe not in Hebrew. The regular mincha Hashem and Lavona. The Gemara here is okay. It even brings regular open psukim. It brings psukim itself to explain the regular halachas. It's not coming to find afka chidushin. Even the pasuk pshat, the says in the pasuk, the Gemara is also pointing out a regular mincha you put Shem and Lavona. It's a fresh pasuk. Shnema v'yosek ala Hashem and v'nosan ala Lavona. The regular mincha you pour Shem and you put Lavona. Then Moldich Esel Kohen. And till now, Rashi points out you don't have to. Till now, the mincha that's brought in the kli shavis and also that you put Shem Lavon, all that the non-Kohen could have done. They said they have El Bnei Aaron. Afterwards, you bring it to the Bnei Aaron. Before that, there's no din that has to be after with the Kohen. And he touches the corner of the mizbeach, the southwestern corner. They said they say they take out the tzadi over here. He touches it, he approaches it, he brings it to the mizbeach. The Brisa said, "Megisha became dramas maravis connected chudish alken v'dayo." That you touch it to the southwestern corner, that's enough. First, it goes on the din of southwest. Why southwest? Tichsid is those teras hamincha. Maybe I'll highlight it over here. What the point is going to be? Is those teras hamincha? Whoever saw b'nei Avrohom l'fnei Hashem, and also says b'nei Mizbeach. That's going to be the difficulty. That it says to Hashem before Hashem to the face of the mizbeach. What's called the face of the mizbeach? The Gemara, especially to the Gemara. The face of the mizbeach is the southern side. The southern side is like where the doorway is. Where's the face of a house? With the side of the door. The rest is the back of the house. And where's the face of the mizbeach? The place where the doorway is. What's the doorway of the mizbeach? On the southern side, that's where the rear was. That's where you came out to the mizbeach. So the southern side is called the Pnei Mizbeach. What's called the Pnei Hashem? On the western side, the place which faces the Heichel. The Heichel is in the west. So that's going to be the difficulty. It says on one side Lefnei Hashem. It also says Pnei HaMizbeach. What do you do? Is it west or is it south? The time the Lefnei Hashem, if it says Lefnei Hashem, it means in the west. Which means the south. Doesn't mean the south. That's the west. What do you do? Okay, so you do southwest. You have to do a corner. If you do only the south, you didn't do the west. If you do only the west, you didn't do the south. So you do the southwestern corner. That's how you kind of both psukim. That's one shita. The second shita, no. You might think you could do either one, either on the south or the west. If you find two psukim that seemingly contradict, one of them fulfills itself and fulfills the other pasuk also. It means that if you do one way, you accomplish both. But the other pasuk, if you do the other pasuk, you'll only fulfill it, but it won't fulfill the requirements of the other pasuk. We'll see in a second what that means. So don't do the way which is going to be mevatel the other pasuk. Do the way which is going to be mekayim the other pasuk also. Do it in a way that which will satisfy both psukim. So just to point out what he's going to say. Lefnei Hashem means the west. Pnei HaMizbeach means the south. But he holds that the question is where the Mizbeach was situated in relationship to the door of the Heichal. The door of the Heichal was 10 amos wide, and the Mizbeach. I'm sorry, I'm making a mistake. The Heichal. I didn't fit in all the numbers, but how does it go? It has to do also with the Mizbeach itself.
Is this about the machlokes?
It's
If the
32.
Mizbeach was half in front of the
Right, that's what the was going to say. Was the Mizbeach was situated right in front of the Heichal, connected the Heichal, or was it all on the northern side from the middle of the Chutzah, which was 50-50 make it, so then the whole Mizbeach was on the northern side. And then it comes out that the side of the Mizbeach was opposite the middle of the Heichal, middle of Keneged the Heichal. My cheshbonos are not going well now. I forgot how big the Mizbeach is.
It's Marish Pratin, but this person belongs to Menachos.
Yeah, the whole thing belongs to Menachos. The whole thing is about Menachos over here. That was the introduction that very little comes into Sotah. The whole thing is about Menachos. How come the Gemara mentions it over here? The whole thing is Menachos also. I don't know. But the Gemara is going to say that if you hold that the whole Mizbeach was opposite the Heichal, so if you do it on the west, it wouldn't be connected to the Heichal. It'd be on the west, it wouldn't be connected to the Heichal. So you have to do it on the southwestern corner. That's how you're going to get mamish by the spitz to be able to get also be connected to the Heichal and also connected on the south. But if you hold that whole Mizbeach is in the northern side, so if you do it on the southern side of the Mizbeach, it's also still connected to Hashem. So this machlok is going on. Tanakam holds that the whole Mizbeach is opposite the Heichal. So then the only way that you could be mekayim both, but doing it by the corner, the southwestern corner. But the Rebbe Lezer holds that the whole Mizbeach is in the north. So even if you do the southern side, you could still be mekayim also Lefnei Hashem. The southern side is also Lefnei Hashem. So Rebbe Lezer introduces that if you have two psukim, and one of them is going to contradict the other pasuk, the other one doesn't contradict the other pasuk, so do the one that doesn't contradict. So he says like this. If you're going to do what it says, Lefnei Hashem on the southern side, so then you're not going to do it at all on the southern side. So that's a problem. But if you do it on the southern side, it's also called Lefnei Hashem. But if you do it on the southern side, then you do fulfill what it says Lefnei Hashem because it's also B'marav. Okay, it's that. Magisha, do it on the southern side of the corner of the Mizbeach. So he doesn't say on the spitz. He says the way you do it on the southern side. And the Gemara has to explain, how did you fulfill Lefnei Hashem? If you do it on the western side, on the southern side, you didn't do it on the western side. The answer is, this Tana of Elazar holds that Talmud Mizbeach is in the north, so in the northern half. Mm-hmm. So if you do it on the southern side of the corner, so it is also Lefnei Hashem. Period. So we have machlokes. If you do it on the southwestern corner, if the Mizbeach is all connected the Heichal, or if you hold that the Mizbeach is on the northern half, then you can do it on the southern side of the Mizbeach. The Brisa says V'dayo. That's enough. Put a touch to the corner over there, and that's enough. The Gemara seems to ask a point to everybody. What does it mean that's enough? Very strange word to say. That's good enough. Touch it to the corner, and that's enough. What does it mean that's enough? You might think that the mincha itself, the Rashi says the soulless, the mincha itself has to touch the mizbech. Now you're just touching the kli to the mizbech. Maybe it's a chatzitza. Maybe you have to touch the mincha itself. No, it's enough to touch the kli. That means that it's enough. Don't think you have to actually touch the mincha to the corner. It's enough to touch the kli to the corner. Maybe you do have to touch the mincha to the corner. To take out the word v'gomer because it's one pasuk. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say v'gomer. It says v'kriva lakohen v'gishal mizbeach, which means you should bring the kohen, bring it to the kohen, and the kohen should bring it to the mizbeach. So it's the same thing in the same status. When you bring it to the kohen, you bring it in the kli. When the kohen brings it to the mizbeach, it's also in the kli. Don't think you have to take it out of the kli or put it or touch the mincha itself to the corner. Even if you leave it in the kli, that's what the pasuk wants. The same way that it was brought to the kohen, in the same way the kohen brings it to the mizbeach in the kli. It says in the dry cell, you have to move the lavona aside before you do the kmitza. What for? It's really a technicality. It's not be'etzem to have to move the lavona away. It's only in order that it shouldn't get caught up in the komets. Because if you can do the komets together with the lavona, so you don't have a full kmitza of flour. You have to have a full kmitza of the flour with the oil. But if you have some of the lavona got into your hand, so you didn't do a full komets. Get it done. Komets ba'al b'yada tzror or gargamelach or kot lavona pasal. If you did kmitza and a pebble or some salt or a piece of granule of the lavona came in, so it's possible. Why? Because in the place of the granule, it would have been soulless. So it's not a full kmitza. So that's the reason why you put the lavona to the side. The comments you do kmitza in a place where there's a lot of oil, very oily spot, that you're supposed to get from the oil also, and very oily, the sotah mishamna. Or it says, whenever it talks about doing the kmitza, it says do it together with the shemen. Misotah mishamna or migirsa mishamna. So even though the oil is all over, but take it from a place which is rabba shemen. Take it from a place which has a lot of oil. The no still softly show some bakasha bukishoris. This is called the kiddush comments. After you did the whole mincha with the kmitza, so now the kmitza you put into a second klisharis. Also has to go two klisharis. One klisharis to put the whole mincha into the klisharis. Now you take from there the kmitza and put the kmitza into the klisharis. Lamali, what do you have to put in the second time into the klisharis? Put it into the first time. The whole mincha is mekudeshes. Why do you have to be mekadesh the comments again? The answer is midhavi adam, just like dam. Not adam, adam. Like by blood. By blood also, there's two kiddushin. Dam afagav the kadesh te sakin the saba behema adam mekadesh lava klisharis. Achanam leloshna. Every time you shech the behema, the shchita alone is mekadesh the blood. So some say because the klisharis, some say the knife is a klisharis. The Rishon talk about this. Some say the knife is not a klisharis, but the shchita anyway is mekadesh the blood. So even though the blood is kodesh from the shchita alone, still you have to put the blood into a klisharis, the kabbalah and a klisharis. So too the mincha also has, even though you did the mincha, it's kodesh on the whole, the kedusha is clear on the whole mincha, but you have to put the kamitz also into a second klisharis. Then you take the lavon to put it on top of the kamitza and you maktir it. So it says open pasuk, you're supposed to be maktir the lavon also. So you do the kamitza, then also take the lavon and maktir both of them. Malay, top of the next page. Here they go. So the word itself seems to say that you maktir it in the klisharis. That doesn't make sense. The klisharis maktir, you're not maktir the comments in the klisharis. That you take it up in order to maktir, you're not maktir it yet. Also, Rashi points out a different gear, but that you didn't do the malicha yet. You weren't maktir it yet. First you take it up, then you put the salt on it, and then you're going to burn it. So the word maktir means kedei laktira, that you're going to, but you didn't yet. Then it says molcho. You put salt on it. How do you know that? All kabbanas have to be salted. So the mincha has to be salted. You put salt onto the mincha, and then you put it onto the fire. After you will mark with it, after they mark the komis, then the rest of it is eaten by the kohen. Menola, a fresh pasuk. They said that the kohen says kavasa. Uksibana says benam. So first you mark the comments, and then the rest of it is eaten by the Kohanim. Open psukim. The Gemara is pointing out that all this is open psukim. You mark the comments, and then the Kohanim are allowed to eat it. The Gemara points out, what does it mean that you mark the comments? How much does it have to get burnt in order that it should be considered that it was muktar, and that now the Kohanim are allowed to eat the rest of the mincha? The market this way, market this way. There's going to be a machlokes about this. Machlokes on the Avrohom coming up. The itma hakomes meimus amati shvaim b'achil. How much does the komes have to be burnt in order that it should be mutter to eat the rest of it by the kohanim? Rabbi Chanina amar mishatish l'bar or Rabbi Yochanan amar mishatitzes or berubo. According to Rabbi Chanina, only when the fire took hold when the mishtishlo berubo means that it conquered it, like it affected, that most of it was already burnt. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Mishititzes or Beruba, once the fire is burnt, is ignited on most of it, even though it didn't yet. Tishlo Torah sounds like it's more, that it's already consumed by most of it is consumed already. Here it says most of it is ignited, that's already considered enough that the Kohanim are allowed to eat it. So that's not focused on Avrohom, when it's considered burnt that the Kohanim are allowed to eat the Shivayim. Then it says after the Kohanim are eating now the Shivayim by the regular mincha, or Rishayim, a Kohanim, Litin L'Zoch, Yain, Risham, and the Dvash, allowed to put other ingredients into it. They can make something tasty. Night time, how come they're allowed to put other things into the mincha? The pasuk says the mashcha. Rashi reads the pasuk that it says it's supposed to be. Where's the Rashi? I gave this pasuk's called. I said it gave the Kohanim all these manas kahuna the mashcha, which the Gemara says the gedula, or like aristocracy, that they should be considered chashuvim. So here it says that they're supposed to eat them in a chashuv way. In the same way that the kings eat the royal feast, so you're supposed to eat the mincha in a way of royalty. Then also in elam chametz, it's only also to make the shivayim chametz. You're allowed to do other things with it. You don't have to eat it the way it is plain, or bake it plain without any ingredients. You could add other things, but you can't make it leavened. That it says that you're not allowed to bake it chametz. It's going over there on the shivayim. That's the chelik that they got. Even the part that goes to them, to the kohanim, also you're not allowed to bake chametz. Not only the part that goes on the mizbech, but also the part that's eaten by the kohanim. The Gemara makes it sound like it's a drasha. Lo se'afer chametz, kama chelkam. But the Gemara is mentioning lo se'afer chametz chelkam. That even the chelik also shouldn't be burnt. Chametz Rashi also points out that it's a drasha. And I don't understand because the pasuk gets that's pasham the pasuk. The pasuk is talking about the naseres. But naseres when I'm the whole thing is talking about shivayim. It's a pasham shah. It's not a drasha. And the one makes sound like it's a drasha over here. The whole pasuk is talking about the shivayim, and it says that it shouldn't be made into chametz. So I never got shot. Why do you need a drasha? That's what we're saying. So what does it say that the regular mincha is not allowed to be made into chametz? We finished. So we finished. We can make the close parentheses. And we finished the price. All this was extra credit, a bonus we had from Maseches Menachos. Usually when it's Torah, so we say that more elaborates because it's not going to have any place to talk about it. But here it does. In Maseches Menachos it says all this. So why was the Gemara so marach over here? Rav was bothered before, I don't know. Why is the Gemara go so detailed and off to the tangent about Menachos? I don't know. So the Mishnah continues by us. Differences between Mincha Sotah and other Menachos. Kol Menachos have Shemen al Lavona. And Mincha Sotah does not have Shemen al Lavona. Is that true? All Menachos have Shemen al Lavona. V'achal Menachos tuna Shemen al Lavona. V'ika Minchas Chotei D'Rachmana Amal Lo Yisam Lo Hashem Lo Yitan Al Lavona. A Minchas Chotei also doesn't have Shemen al Lavona. What's a Minchas Chotei? So regular carbon, that regular chatas that a person brings doesn't have Avera, that's Chayv Karas, is an animal, Kibso Asira, and over there's no other choice. You have to bring a Kibso Asira. If you don't have, so write it down. When I have money, I'll bring a sheep or a goat. But by 3 Averis, the pasuk says that there's an Olav Yored that has a fluctuating scale, that if you have less money, you can bring a less of a carbon. So it talks about that you also could bring birds, a chatas and a olah. If you have no less than money, then you can bring a minchas chotei, a mincha even. That's called Olav Yored, and 3 Averis. So how does it go over there? Shvuas Eidos and Shvuas Vitui and Tumas Mikdash V'Kadashim. On those 3 things, if you don't have enough money, you can bring a smaller carbon. So the such thing is called minchas chotei. Over there also says don't put oil, don't put lavona. So why are you saying that the minchas chotei is the only place that doesn't have shemen or lavona? Minchas chotei also doesn't have shemen or lavona. Achi kama kol minchas tuna shemen or lavona. Uvos menachiten uvos solas. It doesn't mean to say the way we read it is separate things. That all minchas have shemen or lavona, all minchas have chitin, all minchas have solas. No, we don't mean that. We mean that all minchas have one. In general, they have all these 4 things, and there are some exceptions. But nothing has all the exceptions. The only one that has all the exceptions is only going to be sotah. Sotah has all 4 exceptions. So usually a mincha is going to be shemen, levona, chitim, and solas. But minchas chotei has some exceptions. Minchas chotei afi she'ena tuna shemen or levona, v'amena chitim, and v'amena solas. It does have 2 out of 4 that even though it doesn't have shemen or levona, but it does have, comes out from wheat, and also it's soulless, that it's the good flour. But minchas omer is also an exception. Afisha bomin asorin tuna shemen or levona or geras, that it's only missing, that it's not chitin. A minchas omer is missing out of the four things that a regular mincha has. It doesn't have sorim, but everything else it has. It has shemen, has levona, it has geras, which would mean soulless, that it's the coarse part, not the good part. Not good means coarse. Coarse is good. It doesn't have the to be kemach. But the minchas sotah has all four exceptions. Zu ein tuna lo shemen lo levona bomin asorin l'kubal kemach. That's the point. The point is that sotah has all the deficiencies. Some have some deficiencies, but sotah is the only one that has all the deficiencies. No shemen, no levona, not chitim, and not soulless. Side point about the minchas sotah and about the. Let's see, what else is there? I forgot. Let's see. We would think that the sinner shouldn't bring a cheaper carbon than anybody else. A regular mincha has to have shemen levona. He's going to bring a cheap one. No shemen levona. It comes out that it's cheaper because he did a sin. It should be cheaper. We would think not. Tuna shemen ulevona. It shouldn't be a beautiful carbon. Since it's a minchas sotah, so it shouldn't be beautiful, so it's not worth the shemen and levona. But really, we would like that it should cost money for him. But it doesn't, because he shouldn't have a nice carbon. Another point, a chatas chelev means a regular carbon chatas. It's called the chatas chelev. A chatas that you bring on a avera, which means that it's not all of your rate, it's a regular chatas. It has to be that someone ate chelev by mistake, for instance, or any other avera. So he has to bring a carbon chatas. And we would think that a chatas should have nesachim. Why should that be? That he shouldn't gain a regular carbon ola shlomim needs nesachim, and a chatas we think also should need nesachim. He should bring a carbon without nesachim. He shouldn't gain by being because it doesn't have air. It doesn't have air means a cheap carbon. Also, the reason is the same as before that it shouldn't be a beautiful carbon. That's the reason why it doesn't have nesachim. A mitzvah that brings a chatas and asham, it's not because of an avera. The Gemara is going to say soon that it's also an avera l'chora. But first, the Gemara says mitzvah is not an avera, so therefore it does need the sachim. That's the fact that asham mitzvah and the chatas of the mitzvah it has to have the sachim. The fishein ebon al chait. That's the reason that it has to have the sachim. That also comes. Why is the person become a mitzvah? Because he did averis, like everybody knows, because he was at Tzarayin. It also says because of I think Gil Arayis and Shvichas Damim, and maybe also Shua Shav, and what else is a couple of Shua Shav, Lashon Hara. I forgot. I think there are three shins over there. There's the three big averis, and then the three shins, and then also Tzara sign. I forgot. But the Gemara says it comes because 7 averis. So he's saying that the Masorah doesn't come because of a chait, the Masorah also comes because of a chait. The answer is also that he gets a couple. It's true that the nega came because of a avera, but the avera got a kapara from the nega itself, either because the yisurim of the nega, or because the busha that he had a nega. That's already a kapara. But the carbon is only to be matir b'kachim, so that's not considered avera, and therefore it does have the suffering. How about by a nazir? When a nazir brings a chatas, he doesn't bring the sachim. Why not? He also didn't do an avera. He made himself a nazir. He's a holy man. How come over there he doesn't bring the sachim? The answer is according to that, Avloza Kappa is good because he holds that a nazir is also a chol. In fact, the fact that he abstains, not supposed to abstain, so that's also considered a chet, and therefore he does not bring the sachim with his chatas. We said this is not so much. The others argue of Loza Kappa, and it's considered that he's holy. So they're not going to say this whole drasha. This drasha to say that the nesachim go together only because of an avera. If there's no avera, there is nesachim. So they don't have to hold like that. This time that it holds that the nesachim is only brought if there's not brought. If there's an avera concern, they're going to say that a nazir doesn't bring nesachim because there is an avera over there. He shouldn't have been a nazir. And the last thing is said in the Mishnah, the reason why sotah brings saurim is because it's a mach behem, which he did a ma'isa behema. Tanya Amalahen, Rabbi Gamliel lachachamim. Rabbi Gamliel said to lachachamim, Sotrim, Anichuli vedrishena, Kimin chomer. It sounds to me like Sotrim sounds like Rabbosai. Sofrim means Tamid Chachamim. Sofrim, let me, and I'm going to dash it. Kim Chomer. Rashi says Chomer. Rashi says here the word button over here. Button. Zov, like a fancy button. The Chosmin Bo Shnei Tzavari Chalok Lenoi. It's like a clasp. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I guess he wants like put it all together, maybe.
I don't know. Sometimes Chomer the same means a pouch. I don't know. When they want to say like a nice drasha, so it says a Kimin Chomer, but I don't get the exact translation.
They're going to work out over here.
Something
Put
beautiful.
things putting together.
Let's see what he says. He comes to the question is, why does the sotah bring sa'orim? So the Shammai the Kamahiyah Chilatu Madani Olam Lafikach Kabbalah Machal Behema. But Meir said the reason why she brings the korban Bachal Behema is because the sotah, when she was luring this foreign man for relations, so she gave him delicious food. And therefore, in Mida Keneged Mida, she's not going to have a Machal Behema, the opposite of Madani Olam. But Rabbi Gamliel said it's not a satisfying drasha. If she's a rich woman, then she gave him all kinds of delicacies. But there's also sotos that are not rich. A poor woman, she didn't give any kind of Madani Olam, she lured him some other way. So then it wouldn't explain why the korban of Aniyah is also going to be Machal Behema. It's because her act is the act of an animal act. The fact that she acted like that, she was mizana with anybody, that's like an animal. So not because of Dafka the Madani Olam. So this is the Chomer. This is the Kimin Chomer. So I'm not sure how to darshan what the word Chomer means.
And like, what's his genius? We said this. We had this whole thing of. No, he wasn't saying he's smart. He wasn't. We're just saying just a nice idea.
Yeah, and he's saying that it's going to answer the kasha that Rameir didn't answer. Rameir only explained when she's a rich woman that she gave delicacies. That's why she deserves to bring a machal behema. But Gamliel said that doesn't satisfy about Aniyah. So she says the answer is because she did a ma'aseh behema. She said also she did a ma'aseh behema. Nothing to do with the Madani Olam. Adkan. Thank you.
So tomorrow night we're going to leave it at 9, or you're going
No,
to
they said they have to. Okay,
Shabbos?